Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a small kitchenette using 3ds Max and Corona. The example I'm using is a refurb that I've been given. So let's get started. Alright, so the reference image that we got, well, this is the previous site. So this is the kitchen. So yeah, we're doing the refurb on this kitchen. And then the image that it's supposed to look like in the end is something like this. So this is quite conceptual, but we have been given the finishes and all of that. So yeah, and we've been given the DWG. So I'm going to start with importing the DWG and just show you the process with that. So we go to File, Reference, Manage Links, Attach, File, and I've made a little folder here. So we'll just click it, say Open. So I work in millimeters, and that's what it set out to be. So I'll click Rescale millimeters. Make sure you do this in order for it to import correctly, and attach. Cool. So I'm just going to hide my grid by clicking G. Alright, so we're working on the middle one here. So we've got a nice DWG. The only thing I'm not happy with is this base build being extruded for some reason. So what I will do, we'll ignore those two sides and just work here. So what I will do here is just make this an editable poly. Alright, and the idea is to click on all the bottom lines, splines. So by doing that, I just highlighted this bottom area and then hold Alt and click that, and then I'll say create shape, linear, so okay. And now if you lift this, you can see that we've just got our splines for the base build, which is great. So we can actually just hide this. So you can't delete DWGs, you can only hide. You can't delete certain areas. So if you do want to do that, if you do want to hide something, you have to just hide it in your Scene Explorer. Alright, so back to our kitchen. So I'm going to start with lines. We'll just check that we're snapping to vertex, and we hold S. And so we're just basically doing this area. So I'll start from here, and we just go along the perimeter. Alright, so we've got that area. I'll extrude. Alright, 2.7 is the, oh, see, we're not in millimeters. So I'm just going to customize, unit setup, and millimeters. Alright, let's try this again. 2.7, that's correct. Okay, then we want to first make this an editable poly, and then a shell. And this should be about, let's bring it out here. You also just want to click on straighten corners when doing this with walls. For some reason it has that setting that it's not straight at first. Alright, so then you see we've got our shell. I'll show you why we turn this into an editable poly before the shell. I'll show you an example when we get to the windows. Alright, so for this area, I'm just going to highlight this whole area. Just because it's a bit of a weird shape. Close it. Just make sure your lines, your splines are all at 0 axis. And we extrude that up. Cool. And then this one we'll just highlight with a rectangle. We extrude that. And so it's a bit of a weird shape, so we'll just do that piece. Extrude, edit, shell. Cool. We'll come back to the window part here. As you can see, we do have a window. And then we'll just carry on around here. It's a bit confusing with all the doors. Just see what's going on here. Alright, this one we can do extrude, edit, shell. And then we can just draw in some space for these doors. See what's going on here. Alright, I see one of our splines is not at axis 0. Okay, let's extrude this. Alright, let's edit this. See, we've got a wall piece here, so let's just detach that. We'll just put a shell to that. And then we've got our door here. And then this door, so the standard height that we use is 2145 or 2345. Alright, so we've extruded this and put an editable poly. So with my lines, I'll just ring this, connect with one, and bring this connect line up to 2145. Alright. Then we'll click here, we'll detach that because that'll be our door. We'll make that a wall with a shell. And then we've got space for our door. Cool, which we'll come back to now. Alright, so for this window, so I'll estimate this window to start at about 900. Can't really see how high it goes, but we'll probably make it once again 2145. So what you're going to do is just draw a, let's go to the top view, you can see better. You just draw a line from there to there. You'll extrude that up to 900. Make sure that's 0. Extrude that up to 900. Or let's do it all the way to 2.7. Now we'll make this an editable poly. And we'll ring, connect a line at 900. And we'll connect another one at 2145. We'll make it a shell, the whole unit. Okay. Just make it so there. Cool. Now we'll go back to our editable poly. And you can see it's taking off the shell. We'll click on our window piece. I see it is a bit smaller, so let's just do that. Can't see it in the base build, which is a problem, but anyway, we'll just halve it because it looks about half the size. We'll click there. Sorry, let's make it till this line. And we'll detach that. That'll all turn into the shell, and this detach will be a plane, one-sided, which is great because then we move it in there. Alright, so now to create this window with a frame, you click on it, click on the face, inset. I normally do about 20. Then we go to detach in your edit geometry. Say OK. Then we make this frame a shell. I'll make it about 30 on each side. Once again, you make that an editable poly. Give it a bit more definition. So I'll select the faces. I'll hold shift to loop them. Inset again, a small amount. Extrude by local normals so they all come out the same. And we'll make that as well about 20. Cool, so now we've got our frame. This window also needs a thickness, the piece of glass. So we'll make this shell about 2 millimeters. Now to make our door. So I can't really see it in the reference image, but we can kind of see what it looks like. So we will once again select the face, or no, we'll select the edges. We'll just ring the top and the bottom. We connect it in the middle. And then let's just isolate this with Alt Q. Alright, so what we'll first do is put a frame around the whole thing. We'll make that about 20. Or let's make it about 30. Okay, we only want the frame around the sides and the top, so we'll just delete the bottom. Bring these down so they're still flat on the ground. Just go to our axis constraints. Make sure we click there, Z, correct. Select all 3. Alright, so then you're going to detach the middle part from the frame. Put a shell on the frame to add a thickness. And then let's just create a small gap in between here. So we'll say chamfer. In order to open this gap, you have to click this button here, open chamfer. Alright, and we'll make that about 2 so it's not too obvious. And then this guy also needs a thickness. So we'll just make it a bit smaller so you can see it within the frame. Alright, and then for door handles, what I do is you go to geometry, standard primitives, and you will create a cylinder. So for the cylinder, I'll click auto grid so we can do it on the surface. Oops. So we'll do it around here. Just bring that out. Alright, let's make it a bit smaller. We'll put this at about 1 meter. Okay, we'll take all the height segments off, and now we'll make this an editable poly, and we'll start shaping it into a door handle. Okay, so I'll bring that back, inset it, small amount. This is just how I do my door handles, just to give them a bit of a definition. So you extrude it in, inset a bit more, about 0.5 millimeter. Extrude it out. Cool. So now that we have that, we need to add a turbo smooth onto this. So I'll delete these 2 panels. Highlight those with your edge, your border selection. Hold shift, bring these in slightly. And you just keep going. And we'll collapse those. So now we have a good amount of edges there. So if we just add a turbo smooth now, it's going to be very round and deformed. So what we need to do is go back to our editable poly. We need to add some lines towards the edging of all the surfaces. So you can see here, if we turn that on, it gets smoother and more of a harder surface. So we'll just make that about 98. Just untick that. And we'll just go around doing the same. For all the edges. So here, when we brought these in, we did kind of give way for that, but let's do it again. You can't ring those, so that's fine. Alright, let's make it about 2, and there we go. Now we have a nice shape. So now that we have the base for our door handle, let's create the actual handle. So we're going to do that by creating a line. Hold shift and just make it a straight line. Okay, let's bring this up. We'll just hold S. Let's just go to axis constraints again, sorry. Okay. Bring it to the middle. So just to get some perspective of the size. Cool. Might be a bit long. Alright, then we go to rendering, enable in renderer and viewports. We'll do the size a bit smaller, and then we're going to click 1, click on that vertex, and we're going to fillet this. So what you can either do is click on there and do it yourself here, or you can actually just drag along there Still looks a bit big, so let's just move that down slightly. Cool, that should be fine for our door handle. I don't think you're going to see it in the camera view anyway, but just to show you guys, let's just group that, and then we're going to mirror this, instance it, we're going to mirror it on the y-axis. Cool, done. Alright, so now that we've got all of this set up, we need to start doing our actual kitchen.